16 years apart, the same powerful scene repeats itself, but this time they are not watching from the stands as toddlers, they are standing there as the future of the Spanish crown Princess Leonor and Infanta Sofia, reliving a moment their parents experienced a generation earlier in South Africa in 2010. They were too young to remember it, but their parents, then still the Prince and Princess of Asturias, sat in the stands as Spain lifted its first World Cup after defeating the Netherlands 1-0. Even the late Queen Sofia made the journey that day, while King Juan Carlos remained home recovering from surgery. Now in East Rutherford, New Jersey, it was finally the daughter's turn. For the first time in history, all four members of the Spanish royal family, King Felipe VI, Queen Letizia, Princess Leonor and Infanta Sofia, attended a Men's World Cup final together, watching from the stands inside MetLife Stadium as Spain chased a historic second star. It had been a long and emotional road to reach this moment. Days earlier, Spain had stunned France 2-0 in the semi-final, sending the royal family watching from a hotel in Barcelona after presenting the Princess of Girona awards into a rare burst of celebration as they hugged and cheered in a video that quickly went viral. On final day, the atmosphere inside the stadium was electric, and the box reserved for heads of state carried that same incredible energy. Just moments before kickoff, King Felipe VI and Queen Letizia crossed paths with Mexican President Claudia Sheinbaum in a relaxed and informal encounter that came only weeks after a historic meeting between the monarch and Mexican officials. They were not alone inside that box either. United States President Donald Trump, First Lady Melania Trump, FIFA President Gianni Infantino, Spanish Prime Minister Pedro Sanchez and Canadian Prime Minister Mark Carney all shared the same tribune, turning the presidential box into one of the most closely watched places in the entire stadium. But that box was far from ordinary seating. Located within one of the highest security areas of the venue, it featured ballistic glass powerful enough to withstand high-caliber impacts, advanced sound insulation designed to reduce the thunderous roar of the crowd, and protected emergency evacuation routes, including heavily reinforced underground tunnels and direct tactical helipad access. The stadium itself carries the United States Department of Homeland Security Safety Act certification, placing it among the most secure venues in the world for an event of this enormous scale. And then came the moment everyone had been waiting for. Deep into extra time, Ferran Torres found the back of the net. 1-0. Spain had done it again inside the royal box. King Felipe VI and Queen Letizia turned toward each other and shared a raw, emotional embrace, the kind of powerful hug that needed no translation. Moments later, the king made his way down to the pitch, congratulating the players and coaching staff face to face, while sharing hugs and handshakes with the very team that had just rewritten Spanish football history. Behind the glass, that was where it happened. That was where Princess Leonor and Infanta Sofia celebrated Spain winning the World Cup alongside the King and Queen. The heir to the throne and the second in the line of succession were positioned inside this protected section of the stadium because King Felipe VI and Queen Letizia were watching the match from the Royal Box of Honor, a special space reserved for heads of state, dignitaries and other important guests attending the occasion. Boxes like this usually feature reinforced security measures and strictly controlled access designed to protect every authority seated inside, and it was right there through that glass where one of the most memorable images of the entire day unfolded. Leonor and Sofia made their way toward their parents, closing the distance to share the emotion of Spain's triumph as they celebrated together as one family after the historic conquest of the World Cup.